Hey Fae folk, welcome and welcome back. So for today's video, we're going to be doing a top 10 dolls list, and we're going to be taking a look at my personal top 10 Monster High alumni dolls. Now, I do feel like alumni dolls might mean something different to different people. So just to give you my kind of parameters for it, the main thing for me when compiling this list was I was only looking at dolls that are either an already existing Monster High character like Draculaura or like Ghoulia, or characters that are new but are explicitly supposed to exist within the Monster High universe, like the ones from the Off-White collab or like Lenore Lumington. I'm not including any of the Skelectors or even dolls like the Wednesday dolls that technically are like collector level dolls, but they're not, exclusive to Mattel Creations and super hard to get and all that. Basically, any doll that is involved with another IP, I do consider that to be like a different category of Monster High dolls, whereas the alumni dolls are dolls that are in the G1 style. Kind of forgot to say that. That's pretty important. So it's in the G1 style, and again, it's either an already existing character or it's a character that is supposed to be inserted into Monster High. It's not a collaboration. So that's like what I was working with, just because I do feel like for some people, the Skelectors are also alumni dolls, and I definitely understand that, but like, I don't know, I just kind of wanted to make that distinction for this video. So yeah, we're going to be taking a look at my top 10. Obviously, my top 10 is probably different than y'all's. Everyone has their own opinions, and you're absolutely free to disagree with me, just as long as we can be like civil and chill about it. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the top 10 list. So, of course, we are going to be starting with my 10th favorite Monster High alumni doll, and then working our way up to the number 1 spot. And number 10 is actually going to be the Ghoulex Ghoulia that was released for the Fang Club when, like, that whole thing first came out, which I feel like might be surprising to you guys if you've seen this channel before, because I've made no secret that I'm really not a fan of Ghoulia. It's nothing with her personality. I just don't like zombies. They really freak me out, unlike any other monster really does. And so just in general, even when she doesn't look particularly like undead, I just have trouble enjoying Ghoulia because I'm like, oh, the concept kind of freaks me out. But even I can recognize that this was a really, really solid doll. Obviously, Ghoulia fans probably love her significantly more than I do. But like, I think that says a lot that even as someone who does not like the character and typically doesn't like her designs, I could look at this and be like, this is a really solid doll. I'm not really going to be talking about price point in this video just because I'm trying to make this solely about the designs, but she was a reasonable price point, and I do think her design is pretty fun. I feel like there's a lot of different pieces, so you can kind of change it up or take like things off and put them on other dolls or over other outfits. There's just a lot of versatility. She also has the first pair of fabric boots that Monster High ever did, which is like, I feel like I would be wrong in making a top 10 video and not including that landmark occasion, because it's just not something we'd ever gotten for Monster High before. So that was really cool to see. And overall, even though there's no universe in which I would buy her, I can appreciate like her design, and I can appreciate that she has a solid look to her. So not super high on the list, but still props to Ghoulia for just being a really solid doll. Coming in at number 9, I think this might be a little controversial, but it's the Haunt Couture Draculaura doll, which I know so many people love, and I get it because I do also really like her, but I don't know. She's a good doll. Like, she made it into the top 10. I'm not trying to say anything bad about her. I just do think there are other dolls that I personally liked a lot more. There's absolutely nothing wrong with her design. I do like her little like spiderweb cape that kind of matches the spiderwebs on her skirt. I feel like she's got a precious silhouette. Her shoes are really nice. Her bag's cute. This is a solid doll. But for me personally, part of it is going to be like a character bias. There are characters that I like more. She's solid, but that's really all I can say about her. I don't find myself looking at this doll and wanting to gush over how beautiful she is. So she made it to the list, but she couldn't make it higher than 9th place. 8th place is going to be another shocker for those of you who know anything about me, because it is the Stitched in Style Frankie. And this is coming from a certified G1 Frankie hater. Unlike Ghoulia, I'm gonna rip her apart a little bit before I compliment her. Unlike Ghoulia, who I mainly don't like just because of the whole zombie thing, I actively dislike G1 Frankie. I don't like most of her designs, and I don't like her as a character after having watched the webisodes and the movies from Gen 1. There's nothing about Frankie that I personally find appealing. So sorry to the Frankie fans out there. I know there's many of you, but looking at this stylistically speaking, even I can put aside my Frankie dislike, because this is a really, really exemplary doll to the point where I feel like I was on the cusp of considering buying her, which says a lot given how little I like Frankie. I do just think this is a really solid design. The hair blend being very heavy on the black, I think looks really excellent for this doll. The skirt is so cool. There's a couple of different layers there. The top is nice. I feel like it's got some good design to it, but it doesn't overshadow the skirt in any way because the skirt is obviously the main focal point of this design. I love how almost messy it looks. It's obviously very intentional, like it's on purpose, but I really like the vibe that it gives. I like the asymmetry, how you can see one of her legs poking out. This is just a super solid design. I know tons of people love this, and the only reason it's not higher up is because it's on a Frankie doll. So again, sorry to my Frankie lovers out there. I get it. Like, you know, again, everyone has their own opinion. For me though, as a non-Frankie fan, I couldn't rank her any higher, but at least she made it to the list. Then coming into 7th place, we have Harmony from the Off-White collab. And I look at this doll and mostly I just feel sadness, which maybe seems a bit at odds with her being in a top 10 video, but I'm mostly sad because I don't have her and I cannot spring for her. I don't have her because of the price. And I know I said I wasn't going to talk about the price, but I do feel like it's relevant just in terms of that's why I don't own this doll. If this doll had been $50, like if Off-White was less expensive to collab with, I would have her, absolutely. I think that this is just such a fun design. The way that the fabric is done, like this check pattern, and the way that it's manipulated with all of the ruffles, I think is a really, really cool look. The fact that the skirt is sheer, so you can just barely see the red of her boots underneath, which by the way, the boots themselves are actually super, super cool. You can't see much of them, but I do like you get a little hint of that red. I think that's a fun little design element here. I think the hairstyle is really cute. We don't get, you know, in general, as many dolls with short hair as we do dolls with long hair. So I think that that kind of appeals to me, that she's got it styled in a shorter way. She's got the super cute heterochromia, the freckles, like everything about this doll has an absolutely precious design. And again, were it not for the price, I would absolutely own her. So if we're looking at this from a design point of view, she totally had to be on the list. And a lot of those same things go for the 6th place doll, which is Raven, also from the Off-White collab. I just really, really enjoy her. I think this is such a fun outfit. Also, the wings are just super cool. I feel like we don't have that many Monster High dolls with wings, and even when we do, usually they're quite small. So these really big wings I think are super fun, and they very much stand out amongst other dolls. And I just love her outfit. Like her top especially I think is so fun. She's also got cool shoes. She just feels very striking to me. I did kind of debate whether I wanted her or Harmony to be in 6th. Like they're very close together. But I don't know, there's just something about the overall vibes of Raven that I think makes me like her just a little bit more than Harmony. And again, definitely another doll where if she had been released at a different price point, or, you know, I was just someone who had more of a disposable income, I definitely would have this doll because I think she's super cool and pretty unique. So instead of owning her, I'm just giving her credits for being cute by putting her on this list. Breaking into the top 5 is my girl Cleo with her Haunt Couture doll. I love this doll so much. If I were in the basement, I'd be showing her off because I do have this doll. She's so pretty, but I'm still not going down there. So imagine, I mean, I have the pictures up here. You don't have to imagine, but I do have her. I do love her. I just think she's so pretty. It obviously helps that I do tend to like Cleo's designs just across generations. I feel like she always has a really, really strong design. I guess I shouldn't say always, but for the most part, she has a really strong design. And I just really like her color scheme and everything. And I think this is a really beautiful kind of rendition of her original outfit. You can definitely see a lot of the inspiration that came from her original outfit here, but it is elevated for sure. I really like the metallic, like teal to green elements here. I feel like a lot of the time I associate Cleo more with the true blues, but when she gets teal, as long as it's not mixed in with other colors that I feel like don't complement it, I do think it's a really, really fun decision for her to get that more greeny color. I love her backpack. I also love her face. Like the Haunt Couture faces were different, so this is very much like technically an alumni doll, but does not have a G1 Cleo's face. And I think she looks absolutely beautiful. I love her. I actually bought her secondhand because I missed out on her drop because Mattel Creations. So I feel like that is definitely a testament to how much I like this doll, and she absolutely deserved to be on the list today. We're going to go ahead and follow that up right away with another Cleo in 4th place, and that is the Haunt Couture Midnight Runway Cleo. I love this doll. I did kind of debate getting her. Like when we first got stock photos and everything, I was like, okay, this is an expensive doll. Do I really like her enough to spend this much money on her? Like, I just wasn't sure. My husband was finally the one who pushed me over the edge and was like, just go ahead and get her. Like, you like her. Just go ahead and do it. You're agonizing over this. And I'm so glad that he did. Again, like, we're not dwelling on the price. Do I still kind of, feel bad about spending that much sometimes, but also she's so pretty and I'm so, so happy to have this doll in my collection. I love her jumpsuit, the colors and the patterns. I love the shoes with like the non-existent heel, like they're kind of a floating heel. I just think that's really fun. They're incredibly awful to walk in person, but to be fair, I just kind of can't walk in heels in general. But on a doll, I think that they look so pretty. They're very striking to me. I love the neck piece that she's got with the little cape. I'm a sucker for a good cape, so that's doing a lot of favors for this doll. And I also love the mask. It's always a struggle for me because I look at this doll and I think she's got a really beautiful face, but the mask is so fun that I almost always have her displayed with it on. And for me personally, as someone who usually doesn't put like masks or even sunglasses on my dolls sometimes because I like to be able to see their faces super clearly. That says a lot that I love how this mask looks so much that Cleo is almost always wearing it. I just think she's a real stunner. I know that the Midnight Runway line didn't do super overall. Like the dolls were in stock for so long and it seemed like people were just really not vibing with them, especially for the price point. But for me, I was definitely vibing with Cleo. I vibe with her still, so she's in 4th place. 3rd place is also from the Midnight Runway line, and that is my girl, Spectra. Y'all already had to have known she was going to be on this list, right? I rant and rave about Spectra just as a character in general all the time on this channel when I'm talking about Monster High. She will always have an extremely special place in my heart, and I was so excited to see this design. The only negative to me personally is the fact that it does look very, very similar in silhouette and in some of the pieces to the G3 Spectra. So like, if you like G3 Spectra enough, but you're not particularly attached to the character, this might be a doll that seems pretty superfluous to you, where it's like, okay, I don't really need this because I can get a way cheaper version. And I absolutely understand that, but as a huge Spectra fan, like I was so happy to get both of them. Like I have the G3 Spectra, but I'm also really, really glad that I have this Midnight Runway one as well. I just find her so beautiful, and the biggest thing to me, the thing I was so excited about when it came to her release, was the color scheme that they landed on, because the original Spectra doll from Gen 1 had this amazing like bluish purple hair, and I just think she looks so pretty in the face and in the hair when she has that cooler like color scheme. With some of the other G1 releases, they kind of started giving Spectra a lot more of a pinky purple or like a very vibrant violet, and I just don't think that it looked as good on her. It bothered me so bad every single time. So when we got the stock photos for this doll and she had this beautiful cool toned purple coloration again, I was ecstatic. I was so happy that she was getting an alumni release and that it was one that I liked the color scheme of and I liked the design of. I bought her without hesitation. Like Cleo, I kind of waffled on. There was no doubt in my mind that I was going to buy Spectra, right? Like at no point was I like, maybe I won't. No, I knew I needed her and I have her and I love her so much. I'm so happy that I get to look at her when I can go down into the doll room. So definitely had to be here. But somehow there's still 2 dolls that I think I like more. And the first of those is the Vampire Heart Draculaura. I'm sure a lot of you are going to be very surprised that I didn't put her in 1st place. I have a reason for it, which we will obviously get to, but let's go ahead and take a second to like really look at Vampire Heart Draculaura. Maybe this is irritating. I feel like I've gushed about this doll like so much on this channel, more than probably is necessary, but I just genuinely think this is a spectacular design. Really, no notes. And that's not something that I say a lot. Y'all know I am a critiquer. I'm a complainer. I find ways to nitpick, and sorry if that's irritating, but sometimes it's kind of fun for me to critique things. That's just something that I like doing. And also I try to be very intentional with my collection and really take a look at what I'm buying. I'm not trying to like judge anyone. If you're just like, oh, I like that, let me get it. Like that's chill. But for me personally, I like to be more critical. I like to look at things and say, I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that. Is this doll really worth it for me? But with Vampire Heart Draculaura, there was nothing to critique, in my opinion. Okay, maybe it could be argued that she should have been Alyssa Bad. But other than that, I just think everything is so spectacular. That headpiece is incredible. The skirt with like the clear paneling and the vinyl, oh my God, it's absolutely amazing. I'm speechless. Like I'm rendered speechless. And for someone who said I wasn't going to talk about the price, I keep bringing up the price. But something that really filled me with a lot of joy with this doll was that I felt like she was genuinely more worth the price tag than a lot of other Monster High collector dolls. She just has so many pieces and so many layers and so many intricate details. And it's just an absolutely stunning doll. Every time I look at her, again, when I can go down into the doll room, every time I see her, she takes my breath away. And I feel so lucky to have her. And I feel just so amazed that something that cool gets to exist in my doll room. But I think there's one that I like a little more. So, my number one choice, my number one Alumni Monster High doll is actually a doll that isn't technically out yet, and I really hope I am not going to be eating my words in a couple of months when she starts to ship out, but it's the Fang Vote Genifier doll. Looking at this doll, like the concept that we have, the prototype that you might have, if that's the word that's correct to use, is so beyond. I genuinely am not even really sure how to describe how I feel about this doll. Back when the voting process was going on for what design we were going to pick for this doll, I was absolutely elated. I did like a whole video on her not release, but like her design process, I guess you would say, and like the process of buying her. Because every single option that I personally voted for got picked for this Genifier doll, which means that she is inherently my ideal Genifier doll. Like, I'm getting so hyped just talking about her, and I haven't even seen the actual doll yet. But just looking at this mock-up, I don't know what to say. I genuinely have no idea what I'm supposed to say about a doll that looks so majestic, so beautifully designed. I'm gonna forget the designer's name because I'm really, really bad about that. But also, the designer took so much care in how they were doing the designs for Genifier. Like, all of the different options had notes about why they chose those designs and what significance they held. So she's also a very intentionally designed doll, and I think that is a really, really beautiful thing to see. The overskirt that she has with like the ruffles of this beautiful bluish color with like the gold lining are so incredible, very reminiscent of water, which is appropriate because Chinese dragons are usually associated with water. She already takes my breath away just looking at this mock-up photo. And again, I'm really, really, really hoping that I don't eat my words when she starts shipping out, because I think she's supposed to start coming out December of this year, so like right at the tail end of the year. I'm really hoping she turns out good, because with the Fang Vote Rochelle that came out, I personally wasn't like super thrilled with her design, even from the images that we had gotten before she was produced. But then when we did see the actual physical dolls after, time had elapsed and they'd finally been made and shipped out, I thought that they looked worse than the concept art. Just me personally, I wasn't a huge fan of that. And I do think a lot of people did feel a little bit let down by the Fang Vote Rochelle in terms of what they expected versus what they got. I am so desperately hoping that doesn't happen with Genifier, because if she is executed well and if she looks like this concept design does, she is going to be my favorite Monster High alumni doll. And so I'm just betting on this turning out well is basically what's happening here, because I just think every single thing about her is so beautiful and so gorgeous. It's very much like how I feel about Vampire Heart Draculaura, where I don't look at this doll and see anything where I'm like, I don't know about that. Like, that's kind of bad, or I want to take that off, or I wish that wasn't there. I love every single part. So we're just looking to the positive today, right? This is a top 10 video. So I'm going to assume that she's going to look pretty much exactly like this, if not even better. And with that, she had to be number one. Like, I'm so eagerly anticipating her arriving at my door. It's not even funny. So yeah, big kudos to Genifier to making it to number one without even being available yet. But yes, guys, that is going to be it for my top 10 list today. Definitely let me know what you thought of the dolls I featured, as well as if there's any that I missed that you think deserve to be in the top 10. I would absolutely love to hear those thoughts. I do plan on doing in the next couple of weeks here a kind of reverse of this one, where I talk about my bottom 10 alumni dolls. So if you like my more critical, negative takes, definitely be on the lookout for that one. But yeah, that's going to be it for today, guys. I hope you're able to enjoy. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.